this is not a time to take a vote. Do you like marketing or you don't like marketing? But let me show you that the negative feelings about marketing came up from these people. The attackers, they attacked marketing. Do you recognize anyone? You see Ralph Nader? I don't. There he is. Yeah. Who else? Well, it is Ralph Nader. Unsafe at Any Speed. Rachel Carlson, by the way, deserves so much more credit than we've given to her for her book on the Silent Spring, which was about the chemical pollution, the pesticides that we're getting into our spring water and so on. Vance Packard, who popularized the idea that we are hidden persuaders, that when you go into a movie theater, you don't know this, but an ad is sort of flashing to go and get some popcorn before you sit down. Subliminal advertising, which never did happen, but the hidden persuaders. And then John Kenneth Galbraith, who pointed out that while we spend so much money in making enough deodorants for any type of interest you have in deodorants, in the public sector, you've got streets that are littered, and there's some garbage, and there's slow traffic, so we have a good private sector, but we can't enjoy it because the public sector doesn't have the public goods that would facilitate things. You got Naomi Klein, who's probably the prototype person now for attacking branding. Brands, they're awful. You're paying more than you need to pay. The book is called No Logo, logo being another name for brand. And Michael Sandel has this new book out, which is really interesting and worth reading. He's the fellow who ran a course on justice and would ask groups about this size at Harvard, what is the just thing to do in each situation. But his new book is called What Money Can't Buy, The Moral Limits of Marketing, where he points out that if you're in jail in California and you don't like to sell, you can pay for a better sell. You know, maybe one with a computer if you want a computer and so on. But he thinks today our culture divides people in social classes more clearly. We used to go to ball games. I would sit next to someone who was rich and someone who was poor. We'd all stand in the same line for hot dogs. Today, the guys who are rich are up in the skybox, and he calls it the skyboxification of the United States, the skyboxification. They're eating filet mignon, and we peasants are down there standing in line for our hot dog. So we are not meeting each other as we used to in the older days. It's a very interesting treatment. I like to quote Will Rogers with this remark. If advertisers spent the same amount of money that on improving the product as they do on advertising, they wouldn't have to advertise it. And by the way, that's a very profound observation, because in the age of the internet, it's so much easier to talk about a product you like to others, and also about a product you don't like. And in a sense, if this goes far enough, there will be no bad companies anymore. It would be not possible for a company to be a bad company, because the word of mouth will sink it. So he's sort of touching on that point. Do a good job, and others will advertise the good job you did.